Virtual sets are common in sports and entertainment programming, but they've been really rare so far in news, especially at the local level. This year, one of the biggest station groups in the US has been POCing or proof of concepting and will be installing a virtual set studio at its production hub in Phoenix. And it hopes to roll out the technology at more of its stations. Other station groups are exploring, testing, and installing virtual sets, and a public station in San Diego has installed one for fundraising telethons. There are creative and financial reasons for this trend. And here to answer our questions about them is David Rodriguez Moldes. He is product manager at Brainstorm, which is one of the world's largest providers of virtual set, augmented reality, and 3D overlay graphics technology. Welcome, David.
Thank you.
You don't know it, but TV News Tech's editorial department named your headshot the coolest headshot coming when they were prepping for the show. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So you've been helping Univision design, install, and test virtual set and augmented reality graphics in San Antonio and in Phoenix. Why are they going to virtual sets, and what are they learning?
Well, we've seen this trend towards the adoption of more widely adoption of virtual sets and augmented reality that's been ongoing for a few years now. If you look back, probably around 20 years or so, we were already doing virtual sets and augmented reality for news, mainly for elections, but it was something that was happening worldwide. And even back in 2008, the elections in 2008 here, we did something for NBC, so it is something that has been around for a while, and even on the news side of things, there was interest for it. But it seems now that the technology has brought it to a point where it's become easier to deploy and it looks much better. And that's sparked the interest of news stations across the country for to bring in this technology into their everyday production. There are several things that you achieve when you're moving to virtual. First of all, you're saving costs. But you're also creating certain synergies within the station with other type of content, other type of programming that can be done from the same studio. Whereas now that sharing of resources is much more limited. So so far we've seen that there's it's not we've started with Univision, but there's more station groups out there that are really looking at this right now, and it's a combination of all those factors that I mentioned.
Yeah. You mentioned photorealism.
Yeah.
I heard a story that a station group leadership came into a virtual, they had their real set and they had their virtual set, and they thought it was a feed of their virtual set, so of their live set, their hard set. So photorealism is really changing the game here, and I want to ask you about the creative, I guess, frontier and possibilities here, but I want to show a little video first.
Sure.
Let's see.
Right, so we've seen our show reel here, and there's some examples here of work that we've been doing for news, not necessarily within the US. We've got users all over the world. Some of it is more entertainment or sports-based. But you see here, for instance, ITV in the UK, they did they're doing utilizing virtual sets for both sports and some entertainment as well. And it's a good example of repurposing a single studio into a lot of different uses from exactly the same space. And obviously, as you said, Kathy, at the beginning, there's a lot of sports. A lot of sports usage for this kind of technology, but news, as we just saw, is something that is coming up as well. The fact that going back to your question about photorealism, a few years ago we started adopting Unreal Engine as an option for rendering our own sets and augmented reality, and that's really been a game changer in what you can achieve visually and how how appealing that environment, that content becomes to the viewer.
Talk about creative opportunities,
Yes.
because I'm wondering, David, are the station groups you're working with interested in having a virtual set because they can produce not just the news, they can have one for a talk show, they can have one for a magazine, even a game, there's even game shows sometimes being produced. Is that the reason they're moving here, or is it an economic reason that they're moving to virtual sets?
I think both reasons are economic, really. I mean, if you've got a studio and you're utilizing that same studio for different purposes, that means that you don't have to build several separate studios for different purposes, right? So that is economic in itself. But I think it also enhances, when you embrace this technology, it really enhances your storytelling possibilities. You're not limited to the same space daily. You can make slight variations or big variations on that set in a very inexpensive manner. So you're not tied down to that set that you created once, and for the foreseeable future, you'll have to be there 4 or 5 years when you're using hard sets. That's not really the case when using virtual sets. And when you combine those with augmented reality, as I was saying, the storytelling possibilities they expand dramatically, because just think of the work that you see a lot on weather lately. It's a great user case. You can get to tell more in depth how certain weather phenomena works just by getting into the grid of it virtually. Whereas if you're trying to explain that just over words, there's really no way you can convey that message that in that manner.
Yeah, it's a picture's worth 1,000 words in the weather. I agree. Have you seen unusual, like what's the most creative thing you've seen? I'm asking you a question we didn't plan in advance. I know you can answer this question.
Yes, it's an interesting one. I've been doing this for 17 years now, so it's been quite a while. And I think in the U.S., I think I'm not sure whether it's the viewership or it's more on the stations. They tend to be, and the networks, they tend to be more conservative than other parts of the world. I'm from Spain, which is where our headquarters are at, and you see the use of technology in Europe, but especially in Asia, it's much wider. They embraced already this kind of technology long time ago. And so, for instance, one of our older customers in South Korea, they do news. It's NBC. They do news, and they've been using AR for their news for 10 or 12 years now. Mm-hmm. And so you see that kind of thing that they're really scared of embracing something when it comes out, and they can tell good stories. But going back to your question, sorry, something that I'm particularly proud of and that I really like seeing use of the technology is, it's not really news, it's more entertainment, but WWE, they've been working with us for 5-6 years now, and they're producing these amazing looking graphics, AR graphics for their main shows, Raw and SmackDown. And they do that every week, Mondays and Fridays, plus some weekends. And the stuff they do, it's visually amazing. I mean, I don't think they get all the credit they deserve, probably because of the kind of content they put out compared to serious sports. But it's visually, it's absolutely mind-blowing.
I want to ask you about the cost of a virtual set and how that compares with a hard set.
I think the cost, there is an initial investment when you're switching to virtual, because there's you're buying hardware, you're buying software licenses. In our case, licenses are perpetual, so you just pay for them and you can use them forever. And hardware is going to last typically around 4 years, more or less, before you have to switch for something newer and faster. But the way it works, I think the entry point might be slightly above what a regular hard set is going to cost. but it all depends on the amount of cameras that you're planning to use, because you need an engine per camera typically. It all depends, and a tracking system per camera. It all depends on how big your studio is, because the bigger it is, you're going to have to spend more to dress it when it's a hard set, right? So yeah, I would say that the initial investment is going to be very close to that of building a hard set, but then you can get much more out of it over time, because you can change it as often as you want.
Can I hub my virtual set technology and serve more than one station?
Yes.
I can. The technology could be at one station and serve 4 in the region, or could be in the cloud?
It could. We're moving towards the cloud now, and in fact, we're going to have a product next year that is going to be SaaS based. But that won't be really for broadcast. It's more education and corporate purposed. But our intention is moving all of our applications to the cloud, and right now, the possibility of having a hub of renders that are accessed from different locations is a reality, because you can have fiber going in to these hubs from anywhere, from different locations, and then just do your operation directly from there or from elsewhere to KVM. So yeah, it's something that's possible.
Okay. And if I buy my virtual set, I've invested in my technology and I've built my first set, and I want a second one to do a talk show, I have to come back to you to design it, right? I don't have a designer in my station or my news organization to do that. I have to come back? How do I do that?
Not really. I mean, we offer that as a service, but these days there is a big pool of freelancers that know how to create these environments. It used to be the entry point for that. It used to be much higher. It used to be much more difficult, because people that knew 3D, they didn't necessarily know how to transfer that 3D knowledge into real-time 3D, which is what we need for broadcast. But these days, thanks again to the adoption of Unreal, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of artists available out there that can do that job for you. At the same time, there's also a lot of resources that you can get your hands on and utilize by customizing certain elements and making it look more like what you're after. And I think in the near future, I mean next year, we're going to see AI also affecting 3D modeling in a big way, because everything that we've seen so far of text to image generation is going to translate into 3D as well. I've been keeping track of some technologies that are offering image to 3D. So you're starting with a picture or a drawing, and that creates a 3D environment for you. And the same thing with text. So in 2024, we're going to see more of that, and that should also help lower the barrier for creative teams to embrace this kind of technology.
So will you put AI in Brainstorm?
I don't know if we were going to put it directly ourselves, but we are definitely going to offer our clients and our potential users the tools to understand it and to learn it and to work with it. But I don't think it makes a lot of sense for us to create our own AI behind it, because it requires a lot of effort, and we're not really in that realm. Yeah. But there are already companies doing it. So we're just our plan is learning it and then teaching people how to use it.
You mentioned Unreal Engine, which has made a lot of change in virtual sets and augmented reality and graphics. They've changed their approach to the business. Epic Games invented Unreal Engine, I think.
Yes.
And they're changing they want to start licensing their technology. They're changing their approach. Does that mean people will have to pay more because you have to pay them?
We're already paying them. They're in the current license model, you're required to pay them a royalty if your content is going to be output in shared in some way. So we are already, since we started working with them, we're already paying them a royalty for every license that we sell that has video input-output capabilities. So I don't think that will affect our users because they are already, well, obviously not for the licenses that they already had, but even future upgrades, they will be covered because they're already paying that fee.
What is the biggest challenge, you think, facing TV station groups as they think about and adopting virtual sets, or as they adopt them?
I think there's a lot of education to be done, and for a lot of people, they are reluctant to change because they feel that things have been working normally, or they've been working away for a long time, and they don't feel like, I mean, if it's working, why would you change it, right? But as I was trying to explain, changing to virtual and augmented reality gives you a lot of flexibility that you lack when you're working in a more traditional pipeline with hard sets, and I think slowly station groups are seeing that, and but there's still a lot of, as I was saying, a lot of education to be done to them to understand that the technology has become much better and much easier to use. It used to be very complex. It used to be, it didn't look that good a few years ago. Now I think it's gone all the way to where you can, as we were saying earlier, you don't know, there's no way to distinguish a virtual set and a real set if you spend enough time designing it.
Who's more nervous about it, the engineering team or the anchors and the presenters?
I
Would you
think
say?
engineering, I think they get it more easily. It's more on the producers and probably producers and the people in front of camera are the ones more a little bit more reluctant. But even the possibilities have they become wider in the past couple of years with XR and the usage of LED walls. You no longer have to rely on a green background to do a virtual set. You can just have an LED wall. So for a lot of anchors, that's helpful because they already they're not in a green void with just some reference monitor references in front of them. Now they are in an environment where they have a big screen behind them. They can be looking at content while they're going over something. So even in that sense, the technology has become more. I think it's lowered the barrier or the prejudice that some people might have had against it.
Okay, we're out of time. I apologize. I want to thank David Rodriguez-Moldes, who's product manager at Brainstorm, for enlightening us about virtual sets
Thank you, Catherine.
and augmented reality. Thank you.